Over the years, Fender has made a ton of different models of their guitars and basses. The range is pretty expansive, and with all those different models, that means that they can't make all of them at once. So that leads us to today's video, which is here's some guitars and basses that Fender is not currently making that I think they should make again, instruments that I think they should reissue. I've made a list of my top 5, or at least the 5 that came to mind first. We're gonna dig in. Now there's way more than 5 that I wish that they would bring back. So if I don't mention your favorite discontinued Fender model, please leave it down below in the comments, as this video probably warrants a part 2, and we could probably do this with other brands as well. Number 5, and this is one that a Flash Foot Gear has had many of over the years, and I always wish I kept one, and I didn't. The next one is gonna go to me, but that is a Fender Baritone Custom Jaguar. So this was a crafted in Japan era guitar that was made for a fairly short period of time. It was just a baritone long scale Jaguar. So Fender Japan made a couple different baritones, but my favorite of these was the Baritone Custom Jaguar. It had a 28.5-inch scale length, which is pretty big even for a baritone, but these feature just more like traditional Jaguar pickups, very straight ahead, and they sound really, really great. You can tune these really low as you have a long scale length, lots of tension there. They also did a bottom master, which is like a 27-inch Jaguar with humbuckers that even had a built-in fuzz circuit. For my taste, wasn't that usable, but it was a cool novelty. Where I think they really got it right was just the straight ahead 28.5-inch scale Jaguar. On a trip to Nashville, we went into Carter Vintage and shot a video there, and we noticed on the wall one of these Jaguars. That guitar ended up earning a ton of comments, and I think for good reason. Fender should make these again. I think there's a lot of people that would love to grab one. The next pick, I actually have mine up here, and that is the Fender Music Master basses. Now, I absolutely love these. I have one, this is mine. It is extremely not original. This is like the definition of player's grade. It's been refinned, it's got a replacement pickup, replacement tuners. Very not original, but it plays and sounds awesome. I love these basses. I think you can plug them straight in DI and they sound really great. Let's plug this in real quick. I would love to see Fender bring this back, whether in the American Vintage series or in the Fender Japan traditional range. I think these basses are awesome. They're super simple. You just get your one Music Master pickup, volume, tone, output. What else do you need? I think that they definitely offer a different flavor than the Mustang basses, which they have reissued, but not as much as they should. So you could almost put the Mustang bass on this list. Fender's never really done a proper like Fender reissue of these. They recently did a Squier Bronco bass. They also featured something like this in the Vista series range many, many years ago, but I would love to see just a regular like USA or Japanese Fender reissue of these basses. I think that they've earned their place. I think they're starting to have kind of a cult following, and for good reason. Whenever we get the vintage ones, they sell really, really quick, so there's definitely a market there for them. Now, the Music Master guitars are great as well, but you only get one pickup with those, which is just the neck pickup. Still cool, very vibey, and while I'd love to see them bring that back, I think there is a model that is slightly better to bring back than that one. That brings us to number 3, which is the Duosonic guitars. Now, over the years, Fender actually has reissued the Duosonic in a couple different ways. They've done a Squier version of it. They have also done a Mexican version with like a humbucker in the bridge, which is pretty cool, but I would love to see them do a more true to vintage spec reissue of the Duosonic. There is a lot of love out there for Mustangs, and for very good reason. I love Mustangs too, but for me, I don't love the Mustang tremolo. I do love the Mustang sound though, and so that's why I love old Duosonics, is they're basically a hardtail Mustang. Both the Duosonic and the Mustang were student guitars back in the day, but I think the Duosonic actually made the better student guitar, as there was no tremolo to mess around with. These are much stabler. They're also much easier to set up, which for a new player, I think that's a really big plus. If a young player, new player was asking me like, hey, I want a Fender Mustang, is that a good first guitar? I always would hesitate to say yes, just because the tremolo can be a bit tough to kind of keep in tune right and to set up correctly. I'd love to refer over over to getting a Duosonic instead. But right now, Fender doesn't really offer one, and there hasn't really been a straight ahead reissue of just like the vintage specs. Even the Mexican version they made for a while there was really cool, so definitely props for that. But yeah, I'd love to see just a straight ahead Duosonic. I think it is long overdue. Again, I think this would fit great into the Fender Japan Traditional Collection or the Fender American Vintage line. I know if you put it in either of those, it kind of does take it out of the student price point. I don't know, maybe they need a Vintera version, but for me, I'd love to see it in the American Vintage line. This is another huge pick for me. There is one guitar that would be so easy to add to the American Vintage line that they just haven't done, and I don't understand why. I seriously don't think they've ever included this within the American Vintage line, and that is a hardtail Stratocaster. It would be super easy and super cool to do a 70s, big headstock hardtail Strat, do it in Mocha. I would love to see that. If you're like me and you kind of don't love tremolos, as you're probably picking up from my other takes in this video, but you love the sound of a Strat, the hardtail Strat is the obvious answer. These are obviously super simple to make, so I'm not sure why Fender doesn't do more of these. Also from talking to other players, I hear a lot of people would love for them to do a hardtail Strat. Yeah, just make an American Vintage hardtail Strat. You could do a late 50s one, you could do a 70s one, but it'd be really easy to slot right into their existing lineup. Now, if you go over to the Fender Custom Shop, there is a ton of great options for hardtail Strats. For me, if I ever decide to kind of go that route, I probably will just go custom shop, but I would love to just see this in the regular Fender production. I think that it is very well deserved and long overdue. So Fender, we need more hardtail Strats. Before we get to my number one pick, do have a quick honorable mention, and this is very much inspired by a lot of messages that we've received in the last year or so, and that would be to bring back the Big Apple Strats or the double fat Strats. In the early 2000s, Fender was doing a bunch of these just like American standard Strats with Seymour Duncan humbuckers, which what's not to love, that's awesome. And every time we get one in, they sell really, really quick. There was hardtail versions, there was regular tremolo Strat versions, and they were great. And I don't know why they don't still make them. This is something that they could really easily incorporate into their newer Fender American Standard Classic line. Very similar guitars, but just changing over to Duncan humbuckers, and who doesn't love that? Revisit this. We need some more double humbucker equipped Strats, both in a tremolo version and in a hardtail version. And I think using the Big Apple name again would be cool, because I think people recognize that. Now we are down to the number one pick, and we have one here, so let's check it out. Here we have it. This is a Fender American-made subsonic Stratocaster. This example in particular is from 2000. They did not make very many of these. They really should have made more, as these guitars are fantastic and they check a lot of boxes. We're starting the video with the baritone guitar. We're ending with the baritone guitar. Basically, Fender just needs to make more baritone guitars. I feel like there's a lot of people looking for them. That's actually what inspired a lot of this list, was stuff that when we get it in, it sells really quick, and if you look at Fender's current lineup, it's not offered. That's kind of what inspired me to pick a lot of these. This is the most glowing example there. You're probably tired of me talking about hardtail Strats already, but once again, this is hardtail. Stock HSS pickup configuration, which is great, nice variety, and you can get some heavy rhythm tones in the bridge. You can do a whole lot with this guitar. You can cover a lot of genres. You can do metal, you can do indie, you can do country. There is not much that you can't do with this. These baritone Strats really deserve some more love, so let's bring these back. Let's do an American-made 27-inch baritone Strat. Why not? I hope you guys have enjoyed hanging out with us today and checking out all these guitars that I wish Fender would bring back. Now there's so many more to cover than just what we went into here, so please leave your favorites down below in the comments, and maybe we'll follow this up with another video on Fender guitars that should be brought back. Now that we've finished doing this video, I'm already thinking more we could add it, so I think this is a fun format. I'm sure we'll bring it back for some other brands as well, as there have been so many cool guitars made over the years by all the different brands that they're not making right now, and they probably should. If you're new to this channel, we are an online shop, so if you want to check out our inventory, we would love that. We sometimes have a lot of these discontinued guitars, as that is a lot of what I look for when I'm curating inventory, is what cool stuff is out there from the last few decades that you don't see now. I think it's important to find that stuff and give people access to it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share the video, and all that good stuff, and we will see you in another video soon. Bye.
I should have just done wormholes.
You still can.
I still could, but it's I don't know. People will be like,